In this episode, we're going to walk through a scientific analysis of 3 claims made by Bob Lazar. Firstly, we must emphasize that previous knowledge of the Bob Lazar story is assumed. For viewers whom are new to the Bob Lazar story, some recommended minimum viewing appears on screen. Let's now take a look at the first claim. The gravity A wave pulsed at a frequency of 7.46 Hz. This claim can be found on Bob Lazar's website. The gravity A wave refers to the amplified signal being generated, utilizing element 115. In the course of this episode, we take the position that this must be equal to the so-called gravity B wave, being generated by the Earth and experienced at the surface. Matching these two frequencies would be a fundamental requirement for the hovering function, as reported by Bob Lazar. For the second claim, Bob Lazar repeatedly states that the element 115 electromagnetic-like signal was being manipulated like microwaves. What's important regarding this claim is to recognize that microwaves, like all forms of electromagnetic radiation, are wavelength-specific. This means that the equipment, as was observed by Bob Lazar, was microwave-sized. Hence, if the equipment appeared to be manipulating electromagnetic radiation, just like microwaves, then indeed, the signals being amplified and manipulated must have been in the microwave frequency range. The third claim relates to the fuel for the antimatter power supply, requiring a specific manufacturing process. We provide a complete solution with respect to this claim, demonstrating how the solution falls out extremely easily, utilizing nothing more than high school geometry, if and only if a solution to the second claim can be found. Let's now dig a little deeper into these claims. In this slide, we can see a bit more detail regarding each claim. Bob Lazar does quite a good job in clearly communicating the concept of signal amplification and overall system configuration. Basically, a naturally occurring microwave frequency range signal from element 115 is accessed and amplified, then pulse released at 7.46 Hz towards the Earth. This enables the hovering function of the sports model, as described by Bob Lazar. The obvious question around each of these claims is, why is it so? We're going to answer these questions, but first we'll describe the mathematical framework these answers hang from. This is an illustration of the mathematical framework underpinning our analysis. Although it may appear to some viewers as being complex, this isn't actually the case. If you have watched and absorbed the contents of episodes 1 to 13, then much of this should be familiar to you. If you have not watched episodes 1 to 13, we recommend that you make time to do so after watching this episode. Let's now dive into a detailed analysis of the first claim. Why is the gravity A wave pulsed at a frequency of 7.46 Hz? Well, the answer has a number of parts, but it is actually astonishingly simple. The first part of the answer is because the frequency of pulsation for the gravity A wave from the element 115 apparatus must match the frequency of the gravity B wave being generated by the Earth for the sports model hovering function to operate. This is our first clue. If we take this clue and investigate, by decomposing the constant gravitational acceleration we experience at the surface of the Earth, utilizing a Fourier analysis, we find that the sum of the first 415 harmonics defines gravitational acceleration up to 99.9% similarity. In other words, greater than 99.9% of gravity is cancelled by summing the first 415 harmonic modes in a quantized Fourier spectrum describing a gravitational acceleration field. When this is executed, the pulse frequency is calculated to be 7.43 Hz and should be delivered 180 degrees phase shifted. Very clearly, this is an astonishing result and supports the assertions of Bob Lazar. You can see from the graphs included, that by adding harmonic waves as described by the Fourier technique, we will eventually end up with a constant function. In our case, this constant function is gravitational acceleration at the surface of the Earth. Hence, if and only if all Lazar claims regarding element 115 are true, then we have unified quantum mechanics with general relativity in the Fourier domain, by correctly calculating the pulse frequency. This is not a trivial achievement and is thoroughly derived and discussed throughout episodes 1 to 13. We encourage viewers to review these episodes at your earliest convenience. Let's now define some new terms. We shall define the 415th harmonic mode of the unit harmonic operator, established in episode 2, as the Lazar harmonic. The Lazar harmonic defines the Fourier summation threshold whereby, greater than 99.9% of any naturally occurring gravitational acceleration effect, is represented by the 415th harmonic mode. Please review all previous episodes on this channel, for a complete and thorough mathematical reference. Moreover, turning our attention to the amplification factor, we see that the similarity of required values is approximately within 1 order of magnitude for a broad range of gravitational environments. Once again, this concurs with common sense. The amplification factor denotes the amount of element 115 signal amplification required for the sports model hovering function, whilst the power amplification factor describes the amount of power being carried by the amplified element 115 signal. Let's take a step back and look at the significance of the 415th harmonic, that is, the Lazar harmonic. Why is this harmonic mode significant? Well, in the simplest language, it comes down to the principle of diminishing returns. We can see from the tabulated calculations that once we arrive at the Lazar harmonic, going significantly beyond it simply doesn't become a worthwhile investment. Moreover, let's not forget that the harmonic cutoff mode is approximately 10 to the power of 28. So, even at the Lazar harmonic, we're actually only a tiny fraction along the path to its endpoint. So, the significance of the Lazar harmonic is that it's an effective threshold, in terms of the return on energetic investment. Let's move on to Claim 2. As presented on Slide 1, Bob Lazar repeatedly states that the element 115 electromagnetic-like signal was being manipulated like microwaves. What's important regarding this claim is to recognize that microwaves, like all forms of electromagnetic radiation, are wavelength-specific. This means that the equipment, as was observed by Bob Lazar, was microwave-sized. Hence, if the equipment appeared to be manipulating electromagnetic radiation, just like microwaves, then indeed, the signals being amplified and manipulated must have been in the microwave frequency range. We were able to validate Bob Lazar's second claim because the fundamental wavelength extended beyond the nucleus. We showed throughout the episodes on this channel that all matter may be modeled as point particles, in equilibrium with the space-time manifold surrounding it. Moreover, the primary equation utilized to validate all Lazar claims presented in this episode have been experimentally verified in numerous instances. Please review episode 14 for the mathematical process yielding the results appearing on screen. The highlights of our analysis are: Number 1. The gravity A wave operational frequency is 11.44 GHz, this is within the microwave frequency range. Number 2. The gravity A wave extends 26.2 mm beyond the nucleus. This supports an additional Lazar claim regarding physical resistance when attempting to manhandle certain parts of the element 115 apparatus. Number 3. The highest harmonic mode is approximately 10 to the power of 17. Number 4. The significant majority of harmonic modes, that is, greater than 99.99%, do not extend beyond the nucleus and cannot be reached for engineering purposes. Now, we're ready to look at the third claim. With the fundamental wavelength identified from Claim 2, the solution for the third claim is very easily obtained. Simply substitute the value, R equals 26.2 mm, into the diagram appearing in the bottom left-hand corner, and the entire solution satisfying Claim 3 presents itself. Nothing more than the most basic level of high school geometry is required in order to generate the diagram shown. Please take a moment to pause the video, analyze the diagrams, and read the text appearing on screen. It's now time to summarize our journey. Number 1. We have calculated that the Lazar claim regarding the gravity A wave pulse frequency at the surface of the Earth is valid. Number 2. We have calculated that the Lazar claim regarding the gravity A wave amplifier apparatus operating in the microwave frequency range is valid. Number 3. We have calculated and geometrically demonstrated that the Lazar claim regarding the fuel for the antimatter power supply requiring a specific manufacturing process is valid. You can obtain a copy of the calculations utilized in our analysis by following the link appearing on screen. Please note that a spreadsheet calculator is also available via the link tab. At this juncture, we recommend viewers to review episodes 1 to 14. Our conclusions regarding Lazar's claims, by this point, should be exceedingly clear. If, in your opinion, you disagree with our assessment of these claims, please consider the fact that the Storti equation has been experimentally verified, and review episodes 1 to 14 for more information. Hence, in order to dispute our conclusions, one must overturn the Storti equation. However, this equation has been experimentally verified in numerous instances. Please take the time to pause the video and read the information appearing on screen.